So, names and writing is like tricky, right? See, when you're new, you can fall into a lot of traps when using names in your writing. What if I'm saying a character's name too much? What if I'm not saying their name enough? What if I should use descriptors? Don't worry about it, I got you. Traditionally, in American English at least, names are used to highlight, emphasize, or grab attention. When mom wants you to look at her, what does she do? She calls your name. When you're in the middle of a group and someone wants you to refocus for a specific story, they say your name. Names are titles, and people, usually, respond to them. Characters are much the same. Now, names by nature cut through the noise of conversation and grab attention immediately. If someone is saying your name, they need something from you, presumably. It's important, or important enough to pull you away from whatever you're doing. So, how do you write with names? Okay, let's look at two versions of the same scene. The brunette blinks, looking from the raven-haired girl to the blonde boy. The princess sighs, walking further into the room and pushes past the two gawking teens. Mary blinks, looking from Penny to William. The princess sighs, walking further into the room and pushes past the two gawking teens. Now, which one sounded better? If you said the second one, I'd agree. See, those descriptors are known as epithets, and while they are well and good when trying to change up how characters are viewed by the current point of view holder, they also distance the reader from whoever is currently being talked about. Now, ideally epithets, and descriptive language period, should be used primarily to mainly describe the character and what's happening to them or features about them that matters in the moment. They can also be used to put distance between the current point of view and the reader, but with intention. If I were to rewrite this passage, you'd get a very different read. Mary blinks, looking from Penny to the blonde boy. The princess sighs, walking further into the room and pushes past the two gawking teens. Now, in this version, you probably got the idea that whoever the point of view is from doesn't know who the blonde boy is, but they do know Mary and Penny. Now, all of that changed with just one name being removed. Names signify recognition and closeness as well. Unless you're trying to get something across to the reader, or there's just some sort of intention behind the name usage, or lack thereof, try to stick to names. Freya, one of my best friends, is a professional copy editor and works with manuscripts daily, and when shown the vaguely helpful script of this video, she had this to add. Epithets kind of serve the same function as names do in this example, in that they can also be used to highlight a specific important detail about a character the author wants you to remember. Appearances are usually trivial, which is why the blonde and the brunette, aside from being vaguely dehumanizing, doesn't usually work in a story. Take that as opposed to, I don't know, the Jedi Master for Luke Skywalker or something. The unusualness of that phrase calls attention to the different world the story is in, as well as highlights Luke's importance in it. Well, thank you, Freya. That is very intelligent. See, the fun thing about writing for human beings who usually read is, assuming you do your job correctly, people are smart enough to infer who's doing what at what time. If two people using different pronouns are in the same scene together, once you've recognized who's doing what initially, you don't need to constantly reiterate. Remember, names bring attention and highlight. Think about it like this. A page of notes that's all highlighted is as useless as a page without highlights. Something a lot of amateur writers do, and this is natural, is that you don't have a lot of confidence in not only yourself, but your audience. Assume that your readers know what's happening until proven otherwise. Okay, another follow-up question I can already hear you asking. What about names and dialogue? Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not nearly as complicated. See, remember everything I said earlier about the names as highlighters? Same thing here. People don't constantly refer to each other with their names. It doesn't sound right. Not in casual conversation, at least. Take these two examples and tell me which one sounds better. Oh hey, Lily! Lily, oh Lily, I haven't seen you in what, 2 years? Jesus, Lily, it's so good to see you. I was just about to go home and make some dinner, but before I could get in my car, I saw you and thought, oh my god, it's you, Lily. So what have you been up to, Lily? Oh, I'm sorry, Lily, I just realized I left the stove on. I gotta go. Bye, Lily. Oh hey, Lily. Oh, I haven't seen you in what, 2 years? Jesus, it's so good to see you, girl. I'm just about to go home and make some dinner, but before I could get in my car, I saw you and thought, oh my god, it's Lily. So, what have you been up to? Oh, I'm sorry, I just realized I left the stove on. I gotta go. Bye, Lily. So, you might have noticed a lot of difference between those two passages, is that the second one probably sounded a lot more natural, right? That's because we don't say people's names that often in conversation. If you ever want to quickly make your dialogue sound more casual and normal, take out names. Another good tip is to read your dialogue out loud. If it sounds weird, it probably is. But using lots of names is actually an incredibly useful tool and shorthand for conveying to the reader that whoever is talking is not normal or casual. Maybe they're from a different place or planet, or maybe they have bad intentions, or maybe they're just odd. See, unless you're trying to convey urgency or some kind of other very specific intention, keep the names to a minimum. Regardless, I hope this helped. Now, go write something. Shoo.